Good morning, good morning, good morning. Buenos dias, mi gente. It is Rob. Welcome to day number 88 in our daily discipline series. Artwork by Samuel T. there. He's got my IMs right here, BDR. Addie's little contribution, Dad's channel. Huh? How awesome is that? Yeah, number 88. Bringing 88 back. All right, so welcome. Thanks for joining us. It's a Savage Saturday. We got basketball later today. So let's get to work. Let's talk about what we're thankful for. So I'm thankful that it's raining here. It has rained here for like 2 days. And I don't know, maybe 50 miles from here, it ain't raining. It's snowing. So thanks for the rain, Jesus. Appreciate it. Thank you for not sending snow. Give it to those people up in Kansas City. And thank you for basketball. Man, we got basketball today. We had basketball last night. We had basketball Thursday night. I just love it. And so, I was thinking yesterday, actually, let's get to my IMs. I'm a winner. And this is another one we can put up there. And I wrote that down because I started thinking, I'm like, you know what? I win a lot more often than I lose. The problem is when I lose, I often go like Wiz Khalifa and in black and yellow, and everything I do it big. And so sometimes those losses, especially the financial ones, are pretty big. So we have to turn that tide. And so the other thing is that it all comes back down to decision making, by the way. But it's good for me to remember that when I'm in the moment that I'm feeling like a failure about something. Like, no, that's not true. You're not always a failure. We all fail, but you win a lot more than you lose. And I would tell you that's probably because I try more than most people. A lot of people just give up. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. So anyway, I just checked before I started recording. Fear, still a liar. His punk ass brother, Shame, he's still a liar too. So, on a personal note, as I was thinking, as I've been going through this process and saying, why would I make the decisions that I would make, right? Like I said, a lot of times these big, flamboyant, silly decisions that often cost me thousands of dollars. Why would I do that? People, oh, you're manic, you're bipolar, blah, blah. No, it's just a bad decision. Now, did that affect some of those decisions? Probably. But I would tell you that as I've looked back, I think it's a fear and a shame thing in that, I grew up as, we weren't poor compared to a lot of people, but we were poor compared to the circumstance that we were in. Shared this with my mom. We went to a Baptist school with a bunch of rich kids, right? And there's nothing wrong with being rich unless you're an asshole about it. And there was a bunch of kids that they talked down to us, and it wasn't my imagination. We were treated like the poor kids. We were scholarships. So, and there's a shame that comes with that. Kids are cruel and mean, and so as a young kid, I made the decision. I'm like, I'm not going to live like this when I grow up. People are going to treat me like, like I'm beneath them. I'm not beneath them. And I knew it as a kid. I knew that I was more talented than people that were talking to me like that. But again, there was shame that came with that. And then as an adult, oftentimes, that when it comes time to pay, right, the check comes, I'd be the first one to grab it. Like, poor Rob's not here anymore, right? Big deal, Rob's here. And so, that just got worse the more I recognized that people enjoyed that, right? Like, people were attracted to that. Now, it's a short-term attraction, right? Like, as soon as you pay, then everybody's gone. But anyway, no more. And so, over the last few years, I had started to notice that all of my friends who were pretty successful and, that were responsible, they had no problem saying, I can't afford that. Just no. I'm good. Don't need that. And I often admired it, but I didn't put that in my playbook. Well, that has changed. And really, as I was, I had started over the last couple of years, just no, I'm good. And, then you get the pushback like, oh, you're so cheap. I'm not cheap, right? I'm tired of buying shit that I don't need. And so anyway, this last football season, as I was watching Hard Knocks, Greg Williams, who's was the defensive coordinator and then the interim head coach for the Browns, at the end of one episode, his throat was cashed from yelling too much. And so he's, the next episode, the whole time he's got lozenges in his mouth. And he's like, yeah, man, after the last episode aired, some company sent me these free lozenges so I wouldn't lose my voice, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and if it's free, it's me. I'm like, you know what? That dude's a multi-millionaire, right? Seriously, like he's made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in football. And yet he still looks at things like, yeah, no. And then I was listening to a podcast, there was an interview where Rachel Nichols sat down with Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, 2 future Hall of Fame basketball players. For you kids that don't get that reference, I'm looking at you, Aunt Pat. Anyway, just kidding, kind of. Anyway, no, she was talking to them, and Dwayne Wade was making fun of LeBron James because of how frugal he is. And they gave the example of satellite radio. And, they're talking about, like, yeah, you go over to LeBron's house and you're playing ball, because he's got an indoor basketball court. And the commercials start coming on Pandora, and everybody's like, bro, why don't you just buy the subscription? He's like, why would I buy the subscription? It's 30 seconds of a commercial. And they're like, bro, the commercial's talking about coming to the queue and, see LeBron and the guys play. You don't find that as odd? And LeBron was like, no, I don't. What I find odd is paying for something that you can get for free if you just wait a couple seconds. And I thought to myself, I'm like, look at LeBron. LeBron's got more money than all of us put together and then times a couple things. And he's saying, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. So I've adapted that philosophy for myself. Am I perfect about it? Nah. I still do some silly things, but nothing like I used to. And so, again, for me, it's just like, when I come up to a purchasing decision, do I need it? Nope. Can't afford it, right? Just moving on. And so, why am I sharing this with you? I think it's because my Aunt Barb reached out to me and said, hey, she was very complimentary about, some of the things that I talk about on here. And she asked me what changed. And again, I've talked about this before. I'll talk about it again. It was kind of the awakening. And I look around and I had this fault versus responsibility logic in my head. Like, doesn't matter whose fault it is, who's responsible. And I looked around, I'm like, okay, personal relationships, I'm doing okay, right? Family, I got good relationships with my kids, strained relationship with my mom, getting ready to have a divorce, just not great, right? Professionally, I feel like I'm playing out of position a lot of times. That's not great. That's not where I want it to be. Financially, not good. Not nearly. Some people look at me like, man, that's great, but it's not good enough, right? Based off of everything that I have, I've been given the opportunities, the income, that should be more. So just doing a thorough assessment, my health, the way I eat, just everything. Nothing was as good as it needs to be. And again, I can blame that on everybody else, but I'm responsible. So, the whole point of this is me just sharing, right? This is the journey I'm going through. And if any of us ever want to get better, we have to have an honest discussion with ourselves and be like, look, man, that ain't where it should be. And the only way that's going to change is, number 1, admit it. Number 2, get a plan to get out of it. And then 3, commit to the plan. And so, that's what I'm trying to do here and just sharing it with you guys. So, yeah, we talk about the fear and the shame, and it's relevant for me. It was for a long, long time. And again, at the end of it, you look at it and be like, wow, fear really was a liar. Like the fear of me saying, no, I don't want to buy that, or I can't afford that. People are going to think you're poor. Who gives a shit, man? It's not, they're not the one that has to pay the bill. It's you. So you do you. Hands up, peace out. We're better together. We will be back here tomorrow. Have a great Savage Saturday. We're going to go dominate, or at least that's the plan. And we'll be back with an update for you tomorrow. Some good football on tonight. Make sure you watch it. And for those of you that are shoveling snow, better you than me. All right, we'll see you. Thanks.